For more on these new threats and what they could mean for U.S. forces, stability in the region, we're joined right now by retired Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery, a former U.S. Navy flag officer, senior director at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Robert was just talking about this warning from Iran's parliamentary leader, threatening U.S. bases and assets. How are you reading this? Is this an escalation or is this potential posturing from Iran?
I think when it comes to actions around the Arabian Gulf, around the Straits of Hormuz, things are generally, the lid is on that. In other words, there's strikes and then proportionate counterstrikes. So this I see as rhetoric. What worries me more is the discussion about responses of attacks into Tel Aviv from Iran because of the Hezbollah flare-up. That would require a disproportionate response by Israel. So around the Arabian Gulf, the rhetoric's acceptable. I think these are proportionate response and counter-response. It won't get out of control. But if Iran hits Israel with ballistic missiles in response to this, I think we're going to see an escalation in combat operations by the Israelis in response.
Yeah, and as Robert and I were even talking earlier, it just complicates the path towards peace. Iran has recently said that it wants sanction relief. It wants access to frozen assets. President Trump saying today that, again, both are only going to come after a deal. Then you've got Iran now accusing the U.S. of not being committed to making a deal. Weigh in on how complicated this is and maybe clear up where that path to peace really lies.
When dealing with a long-term authoritarian state like Iran that's practiced terrorism around the region, the idea that you would give them the cash ahead of a discussion, it would be really bad negotiation. So obviously, we're going to hold off, try to get the Strait of Hormuz an open relaxation of the U.S. Navy's blockade, a relaxation of Iran's geographic holdup of flow through the Gulf. And possibly part of that might be that we release funds at that point, but only once both of those have been relaxed. So this is a ridiculous ask by the Iranians. I think it's meant to kind of delay and obfuscate the negotiations. It's not serious.
We know that there have obviously been these attacks, Lebanon, Hezbollah. Trump is saying now that Lebanon does not need to be a part of at least a short-term deal with Tehran. Can the U.S. separate Iran from Hezbollah and Lebanon, or are those issues too connected right now?
I think Iran wants to keep them connected, which is why the president's pushing back, because Iran understands there is no reconciliation between Hezbollah and Israel. This has been going on for 3 decades, almost 4 decades now. The idea that that's going to resolve itself in time for us to then have a discussion about the Straits of Hormuz is a distraction. So the president's right to say, look, we're going to handle that. We'll put that on a track. We'll work it. And we legitimately do want to work and create a secure Lebanon under the Lebanese government that Israel has a deal with, not involving Hezbollah. But we can't make that part of the short-term discussion in the Straits of Hormuz or even Iran's nuclear program.
Yeah, it feels like the situation is already too complicated. Adding that layer of it I just don't know when we see this peace negotiated. To your point, this has been something that's been going on, for decades. President Trump has offered, some new assessment on Iran's military capabilities. I want you to take a listen to what he said.
Most of the launching pads have been knocked out, and most of the missile manufacturing areas have been knocked out, but they still have capacity. They have some missiles, they have some drones. I would say percentage-wise, maybe 21, 22% of their missiles. It's a lot of missiles.
What does that tell you about Iran's ability to keep fighting and apply pressure in the region? Because I've talked to people over the last couple of days who've said they think that Iran has this belief that it can wait out this war. Even towards midterm, thinking there's some sort of pressure here in the U.S. On the U.S.'s side to end this.
So Iran has dealt with and observed U.S. presidents that don't have patience. And historically, Donald Trump has had patience, but he's showing it in this case. So I don't know if they can hold them out. I will say 20% of a large number is still a pretty large number.
Yeah.
So they do have a number of ballistic missiles. But their ability to build new ones is at risk because we've destroyed the defense industrial base, the U.S. Air Force and U.S. Navy. So they will have a long-term challenge there. But we have our own problems, not with the ballistic missiles. We can shoot those down, and we have pretty effectively. But the drones have caused problems. So the U.S. needs to be working extremely fast, the U.S. Army, to bring the technology from Ukraine into the Arabian Gulf region to protect the United States and its Arab partners.
Yeah, I got to say, even covering this conflict, it's this confusing balance of understanding the impatience that people have with the economic impact, and then also understanding the safety factor here and wanting to ensure that at the end of this conflict, we are better off than we were ahead of it, and that Iran doesn't have, nuclear weapons or access to building those. So we'll continue to cover this conflict. As you point out, it is complicated, and the path towards peace isn't kind of a linear line. Admiral Montgomery, thank you so much for your time.